Hey, what is going on? It is 12:30 on Friday, which means it's time for this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Chrisman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Friday, 12:30, to help you understand how to grow your real estate business. And what we're talking about today is developing a content strategy for your business, because content is a phenomenal way, really the only way to connect with your potential buyers, sellers, leads, as well as your existing clients, as well as past clients on a large scale. You don't produce any content, why would people pay any attention to you? And if they don't pay attention to you, they're not going to remember you. They don't remember you, they're not going to use you as their real estate professional. So we're all about creating memorable experiences, but there's only so much we could do that ourselves one-to-one in a direct type of format. So we've got to take advantage of the technology that exists today through video, through blog posts, through photos even, through social media. And what we're going to be talking about today is how you tell your story, because that's what the content really is all about, is telling your story. So I'm really excited to bring today's episode to you. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Carissimo, and the show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate every single Friday, 12:30 Eastern Time. And what we're talking about today is developing a content strategy that will help you grow your real estate business, to connect with your current leads in a more direct way, while not necessarily involving your time 100% of the time, because all of this content, the great part about it is that it is automated. So let's go to the board here, and let's start first talking about why you need a content strategy for your real estate business. Why do you need a content strategy for your real estate business? Well, number one reason is to get more leads. And depending on where your business is at right now, get more leads might not be your number one priority right now. Maybe your number one priority is actually, the second one we're going to put on this list here, is to provide a better experience. So ultimately, two key reasons why you want to use content to help build your business, to get more people to get in touch with more potential buyers and sellers, and then secondarily to provide a better experience to those people. And the reason why I say this is secondary, because if you don't have any clients to serve, well, it doesn't matter how great your experience is until you have some clients to actually help out. And this is the whole argument of putting the cart before the horse. Let's see, can I draw a little horse here? Oh yeah, look at that. My drawing skills are on fire today. Oh, I don't know, the head's maybe a little weird. All right, so yeah, there's our little horse. Maybe it looks more like a camel or something with the hump on it. But the horse pulls the cart. You don't want to put the cart before the horse. That's that phrase there, if anyone ever kind of said that to you and you're never like, what does that mean, put the cart before the horse? This is putting the cart before the horse, providing a better experience if you don't yet have anybody to provide an experience to. How are you going to know what the better experience is until you actually have people to custom tailor it to? There's no one-size-fits-all type of solution. That's why real estate is such a unique and dynamic industry, because there isn't necessarily just a one-size-fits-all. You have to do real estate this way, and that's the only way. People are just too different to where there's going to be something that's great for one person and maybe not the best for another. So maybe though your business has already got enough leads. If your business has enough leads, then use content to help provide a better experience. And really, ultimately, you're going to use content for both of these things, because in terms of generating leads, content will generate the best quality leads. And not only the best quality, but get this, At least dollar cost wise, you factor in your time cost of what it takes to, get good at this and become a professional and really hone in on this. But that's with any type of lead generation. But dollar cost of what you're spending to actually get leads once you have a really good content strategy, really it could be zero. Now you could always advertise and promote and pay for Google clicks and Facebook clicks and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok or however it is that you want to promote with money. But you don't necessarily have to do that to get leads. You'll just get more leads when you have really good content that ties into that. So that's why we need to do this. And let's talk first about getting leads, obtaining leads. Because there's a few different ways you go about doing this using content. And ultimately what's really important, let's actually start with this. What's important across the board whenever, this is what you're doing with the content, is that you're telling a story. That's what your content is ultimately doing, is telling a story, telling your story. That's what you're doing with content. You're telling a story. What are you doing when you're watching a movie? You're watching a story unfold in front of you. What do you do when you read a book? You're reading a story. What about when you check a news article? That's a story. Everything is a story. If you do not think that way, your content will not be good. It'll be boring. People won't be able to lock into it if there's not a story. And so how do you tell a story? What's the most important to tell a story? Authenticity. People are looking for authenticity. That's why reality TV shows are such the craze that they are. People love reality TV, but that's because they feel like they're getting an authentic version of people, which a lot of times they are, and sometimes they're just really good at acting and making it look real. But people crave this authenticity, especially in a story. That's why people are addicted to social media, because they want to know everybody's story. They want to know what everybody's up to, what everybody's doing. And the people that are the most successful on social media are the ones that are telling the best story. Some people, they tell a very interesting story, maybe with a bunch of bright, shiny objects. But then other people just tell a great story about experiences. But really what you want to do, because remember, a story, what makes something a story? One of the things I would always ask when I was a kid, or I would always be asked it. I don't know. I remember myself asking this question, but maybe it was because it was always asked to me, and this is what I was taught. But I was always taught whenever there's a story is, what is the moral of the story? So that's what makes something a story, is something that you're able to take away from it. It's not just, rambling on with no point. If we talk about how they design stories, you might remember this from some sort of writing class, you probably English class, maybe you took at some point, but stories generally look like that in some degree. You have your build-up. You guys didn't know you're going to do a storyboarding workshop today when we were talking about content, but this is at the root of whatever content you do, whether it's a video, whether it is an article, even if it's just photos or stories that you're doing, literally stories on, say, Instagram or what do they call them, shorts on YouTube, and I think they call them stories on Facebook as well. Whatever medium you're using to deliver content, you have your build-up, your setting the stage, the climax or turning point, and then your resolution. And this should apply with any of your content as well. If your content doesn't seem to have this, it's not quite a story. So what makes something a good, compelling story? Well, think of when, maybe for those of you that have bought a house yourself. I know some of you that have maybe bought a house yourself and didn't have the greatest experience, and that's what caused you to get your real estate license. So let's walk through that story, because that's a very short, simple story that I know a lot of you out there have. So what are we doing when we're setting the stage over here, where we're building up? When I bought my house, and this is maybe depending on the length of the story, because we're just trying to make it a little 30-second version like I just gave you right there. Had a bad experience, decided I don't want that to happen, and I'm going to get my real estate license, and now here I am today helping people left and right every single day. That's the quickest story I could probably ever give you. Now, there's not much detail to it, but that's still a story because it follows this crescendo and decrescendo, this build-up and this resolution. And the resolution, we'll get to the resolution, but that's where you really are hitting home the takeaways, essentially, in your story. So what's the build-up? It's setting the stage, helping people understand. Have you ever just jumped into a conversation with somebody and you're like, what are you talking about? My mom loves to do this. She'll call me up and it's not hello, it's not hey, what's going on, how are things? It's so I just blah 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 blah, and I'm like, what? Where are you? What is going on? And that's just an information dump. And when you already assume that somebody's already at the same stage as you, you're not gonna have a turning point because you don't have the buildup, you don't have the setting of the stage, you don't have that information. Going back, if we're going to elaborate a little bit further on that story of I had a bad experience, so I got my real estate license, and now I'm helping people not have bad experiences, having phenomenal experiences when buying real estate, because buying real estate should be fun, not something terrible. It should be rewarding. It should be not something that's draining and frustrating, blah, blah, blah. That's all the details of the story. The details can be useful, but details without this basic storyline right here will make your content fall flat. Doesn't matter how good you are at using certain words or saying things or certain phrases, if you don't have this pattern, people are going to have a hard time connecting with your content. This is a tried and true method. This is literally how they write books. This is how they write movies. This is just how stories are told. If you're just telling a story, have you ever had somebody just tell you a bunch of information, you're like, what's the point? What was the point to all that information? What's the moral of the story? Why did I just watch that? That's what a lot of people ask. Hopefully you're not watching that after these videos here, because hopefully you're able to take some information away. But I know if we don't set the stage, and this is what I'm doing now. I'm explaining the importance so that way you could have this turning point. If you didn't think content was important, now you're making this turning point and you're understanding, okay, yeah, content is something that could help me grow my real estate business. But if I just go right in here, if I jump in right at the turning point and I just say, hey, yeah, you need content, and I don't explain why, I don't give any of this preface, I don't set the stage, how are we going to have that emotional shift? That's what a story does a lot of times, and a story a lot of times it involves emotion in some degree. The best stories are the ones that maybe you thought something one way, but now after going through that story, you're like, wow, that actually isn't the case. So these can be very powerful, very effective tools, and if we're talking about content, this is essential. So let's talk about some ideas that we could use to follow this format, follow this flow. Again, getting back to lead generation. I think I already have a slide up here for lead generation. Let's hop over to that one. Awesome. So obtaining leads, lead generation. So what is that story? What is that thing that's going to help people come to these shifts? And if we're talking in terms of what's going to be the most effective for helping you generate good quality leads, we're not talking about content about you going to, say, get your nails done or going to the beach or anything like that. That's really what and granted, we did call this content strategy. Really, we should have called it strategic content. Because that's really what we're talking about today, is making this content strategic in a way, and again, you got to understand how the stories are structured to make this strategic. Because you could just by chance happen to tell a good story, but you don't know if it gives the point that you're trying to make. If you're trying to be intentional about making some certain point, That's where you really need to be strategic about the way you tell the stories, the way you're going and delivering this content. So if we think about, again, the things that are maybe most likely, you want to frame this around your audience. So going back to, and this is, again, brainstorming through this, there's going to be a lot of back and forth. It might not just be a linear process of, okay, I check off this box, I check off this box, I check off this box. If you just check a box and don't ever turn back, you leave a lot of opportunity of missing something. That's why we're jumping back here. So going back to not putting the cart before the horse, we might not have clients yet. And if we don't have clients, we're kind of just guessing of what content is going to be relevant or maybe what's going to help us get leads. But really what we've got to understand before we can create content ideas for obtaining leads is we've got to define, and let's just do this right on here. It's actually, we'll jump over a couple more. All right. So we've got to define our audience. We've got to define our audience. Who is our audience? Is it first-time home buyers? Maybe it's empty nesters. Maybe our audience is potential sellers, just to be generic. You don't want to get overly specific with these audiences at first. Look, trust me, I'm huge into segmentation, and segmentations means splitting up your audiences, but an audience isn't just one person, that's a person. You might as well just have a face-to-face conversation if your audience is just one person. And we're talking about advertising online, you can't even use audiences in, say, Facebook or these other platforms until you have at least 1,000, if not more, people in that audience that have a Facebook account. So at first you want to think bigger. And we might just even have audiences of buyer and seller. And if we just think generically, and so this is a good starting point if you don't have any content yet, is really rather than diving as deep into, who specifically, what type of buyer, what type of seller, but rather just looking at, all right, what basic content can I do for sellers? What basic content can I do for buyers to just get started? And so for sellers, one of the let's start with probably the most basic form of content that almost everybody that's doing some sort of farming or some sort of targeting to a certain neighborhood uses, and that's going to be market reports. Market report or update. Now, this content has the risk of being extremely boring. Maybe you're a numbers person, but keep in mind that not everybody is. And even if somebody is a numbers person, there's only so much there. That's not usually, when people are going on YouTube to go check out videos, they're probably not going to go look for a video on a market update. However, for somebody that is considering selling, this is content that is very valuable and is very useful, and it's actually relatively easy to put together if you're already marketing to a particular area. So that's absolutely something I would work into the strategy there. And look, we're going to be talking about an omni-channel approach. I'm not talking about just using videos. I'm not talking about just using articles. I'm not talking about just using the internet. Because this might even be something that you're mailing out to people when you have their addresses or you're targeting a certain geographic area. So it's all about blending all of these forms of content together into this overall strategy. So your market report or update. But then some of the more kind of engaging, something that might, again, get along the lines of, the hottest leads, and we're going to work our way back. The content about your just everyday life, that's going to help you seem like a regular, real, everyday person. But if you don't work in content in there that's strategic about generating business and elevating current business, taking people from maybe I'm going to buy, we're looking at houses right now to, yeah, you know what, now is the time I've got to find something, I got to make this happen. So tips for upgrades, And with this, I'm specifically referring to the tips for upgrades that are upgrades related to a sale. So a bigger, longer title, if this were, say, like a blog post or a video that you're doing, or the top upgrades that are going to maximize home value, something along those lines. Because when we're talking about strategic content, we're not just talking about, hey, look at this coffee that I got today. That's good to mix that stuff in there as well, but that's not going to generate you leads. What's going to generate leads is a story that's intentional, that follows that same story flow, but now ties in what you do and how you could help people do it. That's the type of content that we're talking about here. So tips for upgrades to their home they may make, or things they must do before sell. Must do before sell. And you can see how these could be very valuable pieces of content that you could provide to somebody. Maybe why hire a realtor? Why you need a realtor? You could talk about your process. You could educate them on what they're getting themselves into. We could talk about understanding the market. Rather than a market update or market report, a video on understanding that information. Maybe open houses. Open house snippets. That could be you telling the story of, hey, yeah, I've got this client here. We're holding an open house today. She was unsure of whether or not her house would sell, but take a look at this open house that we have today. So build up, turning point. Now we move into the resolution. I've already sent her a photo of this. She's super excited, super thrilled of all the attention, all the traffic. If you've been thinking about selling your home, give me a call, shoot me a message today. Boom, that's it. You don't have to make crazy long content for it to be good content. As a matter of fact, with people's short attention spans, you're probably better off doing something shorter. I mean, if you guys paid attention to Ask the Instructor, we used to do, and sometimes we do still do these shows for like an hour long sometimes if we're really on something and you guys are taking it away. But we've tried to shorten down the format of the show. We used to regularly do these at least an hour long and nothing shorter, but that's a lot of time. That's a lot of content. So keep in mind that shorter is often going to be better. It's going to be much more better in your overall content strategy if you have a bunch of short little things that you're doing as opposed to, say, just one big long article. Maybe you write up one big long article, the best thing you could ever come up with, all these details of why you're the best in the real estate market and understanding this, and you try to cram it all into one and just one thing, and you give that to somebody. What's going to happen? It's not going to be like, wow, this article answered all my questions and was so perfect. I read every last word. And matter of fact, even though it took me an hour to read it because it's so long, I reread it again. And you know what? I don't need to do anything. No, that's a fantasy. Because people have short attention spans. People have a lot going on. People have things that don't involve reading or viewing or ingesting your content. So what do? How do you generate business then? You got to break it up into small, bite-sized pieces. So look, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking more about specifically on the buyer side and some of the things you'll be doing to help provide content for buyers that's going to help them move them through the process. We're live on Facebook, and we get the chat loaded up while we're on break here, so stick with us. I'm John Christimo. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Chrisma, and the show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Friday, 12:30 Eastern Time. If you guys are not yet subscribed, hit that little bell icon so whenever it is that we go live, you'll get notifications because we do content every single Wednesday and Friday. We've got all kinds of information in between as well on our website, as well as Facebook, YouTube, all over the place. But wherever you're watching us from, hit that bell icon. You'll get notifications. And if you like today's episode about content and developing strategic content for a content strategy, hit that thumbs up button. We'll know to do more videos about content because ultimately we're on a mission to help you grow your real estate business. That's what we're here to do and provide content that'll help you do that. We don't want to just help you pass a course, pass an exam, or get a license. You're ultimately trying to change your life, to change the future, to change your trajectory. It's out there. The opportunities exist. You just got to know how to take advantage of them. So that's what we're here to help you do every single Friday. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you'd like to do this episode. Hit that thumbs up button for us. But let's get back into today's content about buyers' content, strategic content you could use for a buyer. Now, a lot of this stuff we could repurpose. So the market reports, that's great for a buyer as well. Now this is going to be tips for upgrades. That's something more for the seller, what to do before you sell, why you need a realtor. So that's one I duplicate over here for buyers as well. So market report, why you need a realtor, the process. So that's something you could use for buyers. Understanding the market report, that could work for either side of this. Open house snippets, that will work for buyers as well, especially if you're framing this around like, oh yeah, check out this open house, if this is something that you'd be interested in. But keep in mind, you could reuse this content. That's one of the great things about content is you could reuse it, you could recycle it, you could make this video once and play it millions of times over and over and over again to different audiences. Or you could even just maybe re-edit or recut or reshoot the same video, but maybe one geared towards sellers, one geared toward buyers. You know, at first you're maybe not getting that segmented and specific of trying to reach people more directly because that does involve time in this duplication. But ultimately, it'll connect better with your audience because you'll have a more specific audience as opposed to just people that are, I mean, who out there is interested in realtors? Let's be honest. Who out there is out there seeking out, now there's a lot of potential leads that are seeking out a realtor, but aside from people who need to sell their house immediately, the other 99% of people out there at this given moment, why would they look at a realtor? And the thing is, they wouldn't. They wouldn't pay you any attention unless maybe you've got some really compelling content that makes them interested, that makes them ask questions, that makes them think about buying or selling their home. So that's what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish with this content here. Not just reach the people who are already looking for a realtor, but reach the people who aren't. So when they are, they've already got one. They've already got you. They've already been paying attention to you. And that's where the real world human side of you is going to come in. So that's not really what today's episode is about, because you all could figure out how to post a picture of your coffee or your food or your friends or your family or whatever. I don't want to use the word nonsense in a bad way, but in terms of your business, that is just the fluff.
That's really what that stuff is. It's the fluff. But the fluff doesn't get you leads. I mean, it gets people to remember you, and that's why it is important. You definitely got to have some fluff. But you got to have the main thing that's going to actually monetize this, which is, again, this type of content. You know, we talk about monetization. You go on YouTube, a lot of people on YouTube will go in there and turn on ads on their channels to make money that way. And if solely your goal is to get views on videos, that's a great way to monetize your content. However, if your goal isn't necessarily getting views, if your goal is getting deals, that's what's going to ultimately require, and even the other content requires strategy. But you've got to frame the strategy for this around how is it going to generate leads for your business. And again, you could use different formats. I highly recommend video because video is a great way that you get almost face-to-face with somebody without actually being there in front of them. So it's the best way to really duplicate yourself. But then you could also do that through the written word as well. Some people prefer that. Some people prefer to read information as opposed to watch a video. And again, duplicating your content, maybe you make a video and then you go have somebody transcribe it for you, and now you've got an article. Maybe clean it up a little bit. And now you've got a blog post to correspond with that video. And then on top of that, maybe you have a little photo about the topic that you're talking about that you post on Instagram. Because no one goes on Instagram to read stuff, and even though you can put videos on Instagram, people usually aren't searching out videos on Instagram, even with their new like Instagram Reels thing. I don't know if that's quite taken off as much as something like TikTok has. But even if, let's say you're using TikTok for content, that's a great medium to use video. But now, how do you get people from these different platforms to take that next step? That's what your strategic content is here to do. And some content we could use on the buying side, and this again is going to depend on who your audience is, but the first-time homebuyer thing, that would absolutely be huge for buyers, for a market. Now, if you don't have any interest in working with first-time home buyers, that's probably not something I would recommend. However, if you are interested in working with first-time home buyers, absolutely. I would have a whole series because there's a lot of information, and here's the thing. You could repurpose a lot of this information we've been talking about repurposing, but now just frame it around first-time home buyers. Hey, so you're a first-time home buyer and you want to understand the market. You're a first-time home buyer and you want to understand the process. You're a first-time home buyer. Why would you need to use a realtor? You're a first-time home buyer. What do you need to know before you buy? What are some tips for a first-time home buyer? What is the market report? First-time home buyer market report. Maybe you're not being specific to a certain neighborhood, but maybe a more general area. And you're talking about in that first-time home buyer market report of all the different ways, the different methods, the different programs, or whatever that's changing that exist for first-time home buyers. Really, your content should do one of a few things. There's a few different things that your content should be accomplishing. The number one thing that people are looking for, let's start with that, because we could argue about the other ones, is to entertain. To entertain. That's the number one reason why people do seek out content, is for entertainment. There's entire buildings with giant rooms full of chairs for entertainment. There's entire arenas with tens of thousands of seats for the purpose of entertainment. There's millions of people that tune into these sports games for entertainment. There's tons of services from Netflix to Hulu to whatever it is for entertainment. So that's absolutely something somebody wants. However, entertainment is going to be the least effective for lead generation. So what might work better for that? So rather than entertain, you could inform. You could inform people, and the informational videos, inform or educate, are sometimes closely related to the persuade videos. The videos that are designed to persuade somebody to do something. So you can entertain them, you can inform and educate them, you can persuade them. Now, ultimately, what they're most likely to look for is this. So what you want to do is pepper in the entertainment into whatever you're doing. Yes, you might have some videos for just the sole sake of entertainment. You know, we're talking about just terms in videos, photos, articles, whatever it is. This is like the post of your dogs, of your kids, of your food, of whatever, of you doing cool stuff. That's for the purposes of entertainment. Then informing and educating, that's going to be the things like, hey, this is the current market report. This is how to understand that market report. Here are things you need to know about before you sell your home. That might fall more along the lines of a persuasive piece of content. And this is going to be the one that results in the most money. At least in terms of real estate deals. If you're really entertaining, maybe you can go monetize your YouTube channel because people just love watching your nonsense. That's what the entertainment is. That's the nonsense. Because nonsense is entertaining. You give me any reality TV show that we couldn't just label as nonsense. You might like it, you might enjoy it, but let's still call it what it is, which is nonsense. That's what the entertainment really is. And so from a business perspective, understanding that that's the nonsense, yes, you do need to have nonsense. People need to have fun. That's what your entertaining aspect of this is for. The informing and educating, that's kind of the in-between that is like, all right, I'm going to give you some information, but I'm not, trying to convince you directly there. And you might say, well, why wouldn't I just try to persuade people to sell in every single video or every single post or every single article? Why? Because that's going to get annoying really quick. Now's a great time to sell. Check out the beach. Now's a great time to sell. Check out my dog. Now's a great time to sell. Here's my cat. Now's a great time to sell. Here's my kids. That's going to be really annoying really quickly. And that's if you're just beating in on the persuade. So you want to be careful mixing these. And the entertainment is really probably what you should have the most of. It's the easiest to produce. And ultimately, it fits this really nice flow here. Let's actually zoom out on this here. Your entertaining content is going to be the easiest to produce because the entertainment is just, this will be fun. This will be cool. That's making a cheesy TikTok, doing one of those little dances or something like that. That would be the entertaining. That's easy to do. You just go duplicate what somebody's doing on TikTok or go post a photo of your kids, your family, something fun that you're doing. That's a real easy story to tell, is the entertaining story, when that's the only goal. That's the easiest to do, so that's what you'll do the most of. The informing and educating, and this isn't to scale. I would say this would definitely be a lot less, because the informing and educating, that should be something that you could always do whenever it's relevant, whenever it makes sense. So maybe you're in the process of entertaining and you say, oh yeah, in this house over here, matter of fact, this one actually sold for blah, 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 blah. So you're informing while you're entertaining. And this is going to require a little bit more thought, a little bit more comprehension, a little bit more strategy, a little bit more planning, so you could work in this information and education in an entertaining way. And then the content that's going to take you the most to put together and produce effectively is to persuade. This is going to involve the most work, the most planning, it's going to be your most intentional content. But it's going to be also your most valuable content. Now, the persuasive content can work on its own, but it works a lot better with this informative and entertaining content to back it up. Because this is what's going to show you're a real person up here. The entertainment. The entertainment shows that you're a real person. The information shows you know what you're talking about. And the persuasive says why they should do it with you and why they should do it now. So it's answering a lot of their questions. And again, there's so many ways we could break this up into little bits and pieces, and that's exactly what you want to do. This isn't about making the longest video or the longest article or the best photo or anything like that. It's about frequency. There's something, any of you guys that follow Grant Cardone, this is something that we'll say we're borrowing it from him, is you have to become frequent. You have to become frequent before you can become great. You have to become frequent before you can become great. You're not going to go write your first blog post and it's going to be amazing and win some type of award for blog posts. No. You're not going to make one video and all of a sudden be a viral sensation. That could happen, but it's not. That's in terms of, it's like winning the lottery. For 99.99999% of us, it takes a lot of persistence, a lot of follow through, a lot of work. But it can be so rewarding when you put in the time, when you put in the reps. You don't just walk into the gym and because you're great, you just pick up whatever in that gym. You have to become frequent. You have to go to the gym on a daily basis. You have to put the reps in. You have to be doing the work frequently. And when you first do it, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be perfect. But as you progress, you're going to get better, and that's what's going to open the door for greatness. But if you never get started, you'll never become great. And if you don't continue, you won't become great, because greatness doesn't just happen. I believe that no one's born great. I don't care what family you come from, to what type of spoon you had in your mouth, like people like to say you're born with. People aren't born with greatness. People can't even talk when they're born. How are you going to call that great? Might be some sort of miracle, but in terms of what that infant is capable of, not really much in that state. So people aren't born great. Anybody can become great, but you got to become frequent first. So that's what I want to leave you guys with today. Thank you for tuning in and watching today's episode of State of Real Estate. Ask the Instructors on Wednesday. State of Real Estate every Friday. Both of them right here on the same channel, Tampa School of Real Estate. Hit that bell icon so you're subscribed and you get notifications whenever it is that we have new content to share with you. Our content strategy is all about helping people better understand real estate, to better understand what to do with their real estate license, how to make money with it, how to better prepare themselves for this new career that they're embarking on, how to build a greater business for those of you that are already in real estate. That's what we're here to do. And we know that we help enough people do that, we'll have some people saying some good things about us. Matter of fact, we actually already have quite a few people saying some really good things about us. So if you're looking to get started, if you want to get your real estate license, maybe you're ready to take your post-licensing course, get a broker license, you want to take your real estate business to the next level, you're maybe needing help passing your exam, give us a call. The phone number is 813-333-2676. Again, that's 813-333-2676. We have advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that they can. So again, that phone number is 813-333-2676. You can also check us out at tampaschool.com. It's about all the time we have for today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week on Wednesday for Ask the Instructor, as well as Friday and State of Real Estate. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss it. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Charisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.